Hey guys, what is up? Today we're talking about overlap. So this is a racecraft technique. Overlap, how far alongside are you the other car? And we're going to be finding this at the start of the braking zone. Um, as you'll see, this is going to have a large indication of whether your overtake is successful enough. So overlap, two cars alongside. Um, no overlap if you're completely far behind at the braking zone. Some overlap, full overlap. The more alongside you are at the start of the braking zone, the easier it is for the entire overtake to happen. It's kind of a difficulty scale, as you can think of, and a difficulty scale and a safety scale, how safe of a incident. And then, some leagues, they want you halfway alongside at the apex, but we're just talking about at the breaking point. This could be a large indication of success. So we looked at two race highlights, one from Klaffenbach, we always look at him, and then one from Brendan Lee. So what we saw here was really interesting. We saw that if they had any overlap going into the braking zone, they had about an 80% chance of that overtake to be a success. If they didn't have overlap going into that braking zone, they only had about 20% chance of an overtake to be a success. So that was really surprising. And I also looked at even a Jarno Otmir highlights. He had something similar. He had like a 75% chance if you have overlap and a 30% chance if you had no overlap. So let's look at some of these overtakes. So, right here, I grouped them by corner. So we're going to be looking at the same corner a few times throughout the race. So right here, at the braking zone, no overlap as he comes into braking. He kind of gets ahead at this first chicane, or at that first apex, and then, at the exit of the chicane, you can't keep that overtake. Again, we're going to show the same thing, or a different, same corner, but a different lap. So he tries it again. No overlap under braking. You can get ahead at the first apex, but not the second. Again, this is a space where he does get the overtake done. He doesn't have overlap. It's because the two cars, they kind of go off. They kind of miss their braking point. He's able to get an overtake done. Here we're looking at a different corner now. So no overlap. This is kind of a dive bomb with the inside. You can get ahead at the apex, but you can't maintain it. You're just so far back, and you have to compromise so much exit speed that you can't maintain that overtake on the exit. Same thing, he tries it again. Didn't work. Same corner, near the end of the race. This time he's on the outside. So he does have some overlap here on that one car. And yeah, he's able to keep the place here or make the overtake stick. This is an example of where you had no overlap in the overtake. Another example where you had no overlap and the overtake works. Send on the inside. I showed that those two are usually not the norm. It's the 80%, 20%. Let's look at Brendan Lee now at Netherlands. So no overlap. He gets ahead, kind of at the apex he's ahead, but you can't maintain on the exit. Same corner again. So this, I said he does have a bit of like the front wing is just alongside the rear wing. So I consider that having overlap. And gets ahead at the exit. Another corner. He has some overlap under braking. Able to make the overtake stick on the exit. Here he was able to get some overlap under braking, but he loses it at the apex, so he does not get the overtake. And then here another example of that corner, where he's able to get the move on the car on the inside back there. And another example where he has the overlap under some overlap under braking, able to get the overtake. So we see that any amount of overlap, it's a high likelihood of success in the overtake. So what are some ways we can get more overlap? It's draining that battery. It's draining a little bit extra just to get a little bit ahead or get a little bit more alongside at the start of the braking. Obviously using DRS, and then focus on exits. So it's not always easy to focus on exit. Sometimes if you want a good exit, you don't get a good exit. It's being careful on throttle, and it could be rounding out the corner. So that's where you go a little bit deeper on the corner, and then you turn a little bit harder, if a sharper turn at your turning point, and then you hit a bit of a later apex. And this is a way you can get a better exit on a slower car ahead. So thank you so much for watching. See ya. Bye.